Hello and welcome to DCP SideQuest, episode number 30, the Game of the Year 2019.
Wow.
Final episode of the year edition.
Final episode of SideQuest.
Guys,
pre-order now.
Yeah, this is the last episode of SideQuest forever for 2019.
Oh, for the decade. For the decade.
For the decade. That's true.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
It's
Well,
getting
we were saying that
serious.
did you see when people were doing the decade games, and there were lots of people that it apparently became very clear people didn't understand how decades worked, and they were getting angry, and they were like, "Why are you doing a list of games of the decade when there's one more year in the decade?" It's like that's not how they work. And
No.
there were genuinely angry people that were like,
did
"You've got it
see
all
that.
wrong."
Yeah.
So
did.
2011
this
to 2020?
10 years ago.
Yeah.
They were like, well, you don't start at 0, you start at 1. It's like, and then someone was like, yes, my favorite year of the 90s was 2000. Oh my gosh.
That's like a flat
Guys.
earther comment. Oh, yes. Yeah. Brian, go for it.
I have been agonizing over this list since we've decided last week to do the Game of the Year. Like, I had
boy.
6 games. 6 games.
You could just mention all 6. That's
I
totally
could.
fine.
I could.
True.
That I wanted to pare down to a list of 3, the agreed upon number.
The
And I've
agreed
been
upon.
swapping games. I've had this like list going on my phone in the notes app on my phone. I've had this list going, and I've been swapping games in, swapping games out. And Tefty joins the call. I say, Tefty, what'd you do? Like, have you got your game of the year list ready? He's like, oh, I forgot about that.
Thanks
And then Eric
for
joins the
calling
call.
me out, Briar.
And then Eric joins the call. And I'm like, so you ready for your game of the year? He's like, yeah.
How many did you think? Whoa.
But
Eric's
I
just
know,
like, wait,
I
it's
know
mine.
in my heart that
Yeah.
Watts has been agonizing like myself.
Not agonizing, but I did have a quick thought of, I'm going to pick a game that probably not everyone will pick.
Okay.
It's interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
But it's also very
All right.
obvious. But it's, yeah. I thought about it. I did think about it. I have thought about it
Okay.
many
Okay.
times, more than once.
More than once. So
Interesting.
before we do the Game of the Year stuff, can we talk a little bit about Battlefront 2
Yeah,
Celebration
Yeah.
Edition?
let's do it.
Because we had a chance to play this game. It was a sponsored stream, right?
Yeah.
So like,
Yes.
kind of put that out there. I like this game a lot.
It's really good right now.
It was so fun.
Seriously, yeah.
I had so much fun.
Yeah.
We played a couple of modes of multiplayer as a group, and whenever you play games with your friends, like it's always just fun to play games with your friends. So,
Yeah.
but like I was really impressed with like the depth of the multiplayer experience, the aspect of switching different classes in the game.
Mhm.
The graphical quality of the game was kind of
Yeah.
outstanding.
That game looks nuts. It's so good looking.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it definitely feels like a Star Wars game. It looks like a Star Wars game. It's just absolutely beautiful game. It ran just beautifully. And I had a blast playing it.
Yeah. I've been thinking about it all weekend.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe I could hop in for a game. I was like, wait, the game was like an hour long. Maybe I don't. Maybe I can't just
I was
hop
like,
in. For
I was like to memes. I was like, hey, do you want to play some Star Wars?
I said the same thing to Tomo. It's like, so you have the Origin access thing, right?
Yeah.
You just
Jump
play some
in,
battle.
shoot some stars. You know.
Star Wars is on my mind right now too, because we've got the Mandalorian series happening on Disney Plus. We got a new Star
Yeah.
Wars movie in theaters. I just recently completed Jedi: The Fallen Order.
Yep.
Like,
Oh,
there's
nice.
just so much Star Wars happening in my life right now that it's just perfectly complemented like what was going on. It's just
Yeah.
super fun to jump in, get beat up by a lot of Jedi,
Yeah.
Yeah.
initiate Order 66, and
Yeah. I had a blast playing.
And
it.
we won somehow. We won our game that we played.
The
Yeah,
long game.
skill.
Yeah.
The
skill,
long we won
exactly.
we did long
we
yes.
got good.
Yeah. We were droidicas.
We definitely got better.
Still not enough Jar Jar Binks for my liking.
Oh, you need Jar Jar in there? Yeah.
I think there's
Yeah.
0 Jar Jars.
It's
Yeah.
not, it's not like, I mean, that's why I haven't played it. That's the only reason.
Can we get justice for Jar Jar?
We need to. We need to.
If you did
One of
miss
these days
us,
it's gonna happen.
if you did miss us playing Battlefront together. There is a video that Briar edited together of our time in Battlefront on the DCP YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So if you want to go check that out, it's got all of our perspectives, so you can catch up on what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good times.
Gameplay starts around 10 minutes into the video.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, it was really fun. I was really surprised. I'd written
Me
that
too.
game off almost completely based around like the microtransaction hoopla when it initially was released.
Yeah.
And I never played it. So jumping into it was a completely fresh experience. I was like, wow, it's actually a really fun game now.
They've also
Yeah, super
been
fun.
slowly updating it over the course of 2 years with new content, new drops, new DLC things. And if you do have access to Origin Premiere, you get all that.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
You get the celebration edition as well as part of that, because I didn't actually know that initially. I was like, yeah, we get the game obviously with the Origin stuff, but I didn't know we'd get the celebration edition.
Tobias is showing his cone
No.
on Watts' screen right now for
The
our audio
code has
listeners.
appeared that everyone stopped listening.
Oh, dear.
The Tobias cone of silence.
Like, why are you laughing at me, human?
Yeah.
In addition to that, I actually had a chance to play a game that Eric, you mentioned last week, and I had heard it was basically like a 2D Dark Souls, and I had parroted that opinion when you asked about it, but it was Blasphemous.
Yes.
I actually downloaded and checked this game out. Did you check it out yet?
So it's literally, so I've written my list in front of me of games that I'm going to be playing over Christmas, and I've just finished Pokemon, so it's next on my list, so I'm about to start it.
I gotta say, I am incredibly impressed by this game.
Really?
It's got a nice art style, right?
Tell me
It's
about
got a
this game. 'Cause
beautiful
I'm
art
all
style.
about these games.
It's a
of it.
2D game in the style of Castlevania from like the old school, right? Like if Castlevania 4, if the world had continued and everybody had like made a Castlevania 5 in the style of Castlevania 4 on the Super Nintendo, like that's kind of like the art style that would have gone, but it's much more hardcore in like a 90s metal goth kind of way. Whereas like there's a lot of blood, there's a lot of like religious a lot of religious stuff.
Iconography.
And it's like it's really like it's kind of like badass in that like drawn in my notebook 13-year-old kind of way where like like when you execute a guy, there's like a certain way you can execute people, and you kind of like you'll like slice their head off and blood spurts all over the place. There's like this boss with like a snake and a baby, and if the baby grabs you, tears you in half. The animation is just absolutely gorgeous. The game plays like pinpoint precision. It's all about like trying to stay alive, managing your life bar. You can upgrade your character, but it's not like Metroid where you upgrade your character to access different places. I think pretty much the whole map is basically available to you as soon as you start the game up. You're not going to get like you're not going to be able to turn into a ball to access a new place, right? If you can kill enough stuff to get there, you'll get there, but you can upgrade your character as far as like the damage you do or the damage you take, that kind of stuff. It's really a beautiful game. It's very difficult. I find it very difficult anyway. I think that's where the Dark Souls comparisons come from. But really, I think that's it. It's not, there's no like campfires. There's no, it really feels like a Metroidvania that really steers toward the Castlevania side of that scale.
Okay.
In a very cool way. And it's a really fun game. It's hard, but it's very cool. It's very rewarding. It might take personally, it might take me like 5 tries to get from one checkpoint to the next checkpoint, or 10 tries. But when I get there, I feel like I've accomplished it, and like I feel like I've gotten better at the game to do so. Maybe that's a Dark Souls comparison as well.
Is this on the Twitch, the old switcheroo?
It's on a Switch. I have it actually in 2 versions. I got a free code for Steam and played about 5 minutes of it, and I said, "Is this available on Switch? Because I'd rather be playing on Switch." And went and bought it on Switch.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very
I'm
good.
looking forward to playing
Yeah, I
that.
have to check that
Definitely,
out. Cool.
Anybody
Also,
else been playing anything they
before-
want to talk about? Yeah.
Before we begin the Game of the Year thing, did you guys see that Puma have released Gamer sock shoes.
Oh,
I
I heard
did.
about this.
I did.
Adaptive
this up
gamer
right now.
footwear. And I have purchased them. I'm wearing them right now. So if I'm more efficient during this podcast, it's clearly working.
Yes.
Can you show them to us?
I can. Yes. They look like this.
Whoa. Those are like
Okay.
small shoes.
They're basically barefoot shoes.
Yeah, barefoot shoes.
So they like barefoot shoes. And I'll be honest, I bought them mainly because I was like, well, then I can basically just use them in the gym. So
yeah.
But then it's funny because it came off on Twitter, and at first I mocked them. I was like, "Ha, gamer socks! Ha, what idiot would buy these?" And then I saw them again. I was like, "They're available to buy now." It's like, and then I was like, "Okay, I've purchased these because I want to find out what they're like." And they arrived, and I'm like, "Well, they're quite comfortable. They have a sole in them. They have a hard sole, so they're basically like slippers." But I can go out because like if you wear the typical indoor slippers, right, with like no sole on them, and then you have to go out to like take the rubbish out, but it's like been raining. You're like, what do I do? You're like, oh well, I'm just gonna go out anyway. Then you ruin your slippers. So now they're functional. So it's like, yeah,
It actually sounds like a good idea. These are some good house shoes.
Yeah.
Exactly, right. I mean, the funny thing is, there's the stupid marketing spiel, right? Because they've created these because they've also got a gamer chair, which is basically like a rocking chair. Some people have called it a weird love chair, which is weird, rather strange, right? But the weird thing is when you
I just keep getting more interested in this chair.
Yeah. But when you mix them together, they really kind of drill down the marketing thing. They're like, oh, basically this is designed between like you can switch into like attack stance with these shoes, and basically this is where like there's a game where like you lean forward, like your arms are on your knees, and you're like. And they're like, but then you can switch into defense stance when like you're leaning back and you're kind of, and they're like, they've got all these different profiles for how you can like how the shoes are supposed to sort of adapt to your attack and defense stance. I'm like, my dude, don't try and sell it like that. Basically, they're just nice, comfortable sock shoes that you can wear inside the house, or if you go to a tournament, you can kind of sit there. You don't have to wear like big, bulky shoes all day. And they're breathable, so I'm gonna test them over the next few weeks because like I've now officially finished making videos for the year. So any reviewers have to wait until the new year, but I'm quite liking them so far.
Nice.
It seems like it's so you're a gamer and you don't go outside. So here's a shoe you can wear inside, but also go outside if you like sort of need to without changing shoes.
Exactly.
Perfect for gamers.
That is hilarious.
These may upset my Crocs from their daily use.
You're going to retire your Crocs with these?
Well, let's not.
How much are they in US dollars, Briar? I know you're looking up.
I think they're about $100 US.
That's not
$100
bad.
for slippers?
It's not too bad. For adaptive gamer footwear. Please, you must.
They adapt to your environment.
Exactly. I was trying to find the marketing spiel because it was just too funny when I read it. I was like, somebody in the boardroom is like taking this really seriously, and there's like, but still, yeah. So that's what I'm currently testing.
This is amazing. I'm ordering it now.
Do it. We can all just be like gaming ninjas with like these little weird ninja shoes.
It's hilarious. Oh my god.
That is great.
Yeah.
I remember those the Vibram sneakers that have the individual toes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ordered those one time and my wife made me cancel the order. She said, "You will not wear these." I wonder if these would be the same sort of thing.
I have one of those like they're like that, but they don't quite have the individual toes, but they have the shape for the toes because I bought them as like lifting shoes. So yeah, but they were cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Hey, over the weekend, I saw Star Wars.
Whoa.
I saw it on Friday.
Wow.
I have not seen it yet.
Yeah.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
No spoilers, obviously.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I walked away.
I had a good time.
Yeah. It was a fun experience, and I kind of want to see it again.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. I do.
Briar's
That's great
like,
news.
Let me tell you why it's bad.
I haven't seen it. I'm really looking forward to it. I really liked the first movie in the new series. Like, I really liked it. The second movie, like, I had issues with, definitely. But J.J. Abrams is back in charge. I've got high hopes. I know he's got some work to do to kind of, I've heard that he's trying to retcon some of the stuff from the second movie to make it fit more in the Star Wars universe, or his version of the Star Wars universe. But I'm a huge fan of J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, he knows how to tell a story, and he knows how to pitch Actually, he knows how to do a movie, is what it is. He knows how to keep action going. You could definitely feel the J.J. Abrams effect in this movie of keeping the pace. And there was a lot that they go through. I totally understand.
How many lens flares in the movie?
And during the battle scenes, there's a lot.
A lot of lens flares.
And I'm not disappointed because they looked freaking amazing.
I will say keep an eye out for a character who's probably like my favorite character.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, that character was amazing.
Better or worse than Baby Yoda?
Ooh,
I think they're currently battling it out on the internet.
On par.
For a number of spots.
Yeah, they're
on par with Baby Yoda?
Yeah.
I have seen many battles.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a great
You know,
character.
one of my kids told me that he hates Baby Yoda.
Did you chastise your kid?
I've told him he has to move out immediately. I don't know what else I can do.
Get a job, get an apartment, don't come back for Christmas.
Right? Goodbye? Fully embrace the dark side?
Baby Yoda hasn't even done anything worth hating. He's just kind of sat there drinking some soup and just like hanging out. Pressing some buttons.
But see, this is what I don't understand. You see, like everybody loves Baby Yoda. Where was there not this love for Jar Jar Binks? They're both basically lovable characters. They're both basically these little like
justice for Jar Jar.
I know, right?
That's an interesting take.
I know. Like, I mean, look at them. They just sit there. They're both harmless. They're both fun, lovable characters, great personalities. Honestly, like people are just there's double standards. I hate it. Double standards.
I didn't have the hate for Jar Jar Binks that is so prevalent on the internet until they made him a senator, and I was like, "You've gone too far."
Senator Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awkward. Definitely, there's no denying that one. Yeah.
Star Wars movie, I'd say entertainment-wise, very, very good. Maybe if you think about it a bit too much, you might find some problems. But I think overall, as a viewing movie experience, is very enjoyable.
I can't wait to see it. We're gonna go either on Christmas Day or the day after Christmas.
I saw it on the IMAX, and it did not disappoint.
Yeah, IMAX worth of. I'm always torn. Okay, so I'm always torn on the movie theater experience because the IMAX, you get that huge screen, you get the great sound, but at my local IMAX theater, they do not have the recliners. And I do like the recliners a lot.
Okay. Well, but is the recliner going to make you fall asleep?
No.
Okay.
Not if the movie is good, but if the movie is bad, the option is there.
This movie has a lot of action. I don't know if you're necessarily going to. Well, that's personal.
It didn't make me sleepy.
No.
And I was I had a jacket on me reclined all the way back in my seat. So
yeah. So you went the recliner experience.
I went with the dine-in cocktail reclining experience.
Whoa.
Nice.
Fancy.
Nice.
That sounds nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very entertaining movie. I totally get it if there's some things you want to pick apart story-wise. Sure. You know, you can't please everyone in that storyline, honestly, right? Like there's always things that can go different ways that people would prefer. But as a Star Wars film and the epicness that they showed, I was like, whoa, this is epic.
Star Wars is such a piece of people's childhood, right? It's almost a religious experience. Like
it's true.
It's a crazy thing.
You know what else is hitting the cinema just after Christmas, which is also the end of a big 10-year saga? Oh, this has been longer than 10 years. Ip Man 4.
Oh, wow, it's coming out. Really? I didn't know it was coming
December.
out that, wow.
Dude. I guess it's kind of linked to Star Wars because Donnie Yen was in Star Wars, and so I've kind of made a little segue link. So there you go. Ip Man 4, the thing that revolutionized some of the martial art films. So yeah.
Nice.
There you go.
Yes. Yeah, Ip Man's huge.
Cool. I actually haven't seen it.
You need to.
Oh, if you haven't, some of the best martial art films. It is so good. So yeah, definitely.
Very cool. One more thing before we jump into the Game of the Year stuff. I got to play the Borderlands 3 DLC, and it was actually really good.
How was it?
It was really good. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it didn't have any of the clips.
This is a story-based DLC.
Story-based DLC. It's you go to Handsome Jack's casino. Moxie wants to take it over, and that's the premise. And they introduce a bunch of great Borderlands characters that I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah,
it was great. They also have like 20-something new legendaries that you can go and find between. Yeah. So there's some good stuff in there. Yeah, I mostly just did the main story. It took me about 5-6 hours. So.
Yeah, it's
It's a
pretty
solid
pretty
chunk of
short. But
time.
yeah, it's definitely- yeah. I think it's definitely the story chunk that I've enjoyed the most in Borderlands 3 because, as you said, like it was Sans Calypso twins.
Yeah, there's
They're basically like
not a single mention of the
Yeah.
Calypso twins, which is great.
No.
exactly right.
Yeah,
That's not going to break too many hearts.
Yeah. Calypso who?
yeah. They're like, this is great. No Calypso twins. This story is so good. Wow.
Did you get the ion cannon during your playthrough?
I did get that. That was nuts.
The best thing in the world. It was like so good.
Yeah.
I just like pull the trigger and like everything's dead
Yeah.
in one shot.
Charge and
Like,
hold
golden
rocket
gun,
launcher that just obliterates. Yeah.
You guys kind of know my complaints about Borderlands 3. Do you think it's worth me playing DLC?
I think you'll enjoy the DLC. It's really funny.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
the nice thing about the DLC as well is because especially like I think I think back to when we spoke about Borderlands earlier in the year, like a lot of the kind of silly jokes that I don't think landed very well in Borderlands 3. I almost felt like Borderlands 3's DLC, the story DLC, was more kind of true to like Borderlands 2 style than it was like the newer stuff. So it just felt like So I think if you didn't necessarily like some of that stuff, this is more sort of traditional.
Yeah.
So yeah, I quite enjoyed it.
Cool.
And it's only a short chunk, so you could always kind of jump back in, enjoy it for like 5 hours, and be like, yeah, got my fill, done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's quick. Yeah.
How much does the DLC cost?
I don't know actually because I got
have
the
a
season
pass.
pass.
So I'm not too sure.
It's probably $10, probably something like that for that content.
All right,
Yeah.
should we do it?
Let's do
End of
it.
the year?
Let's do it. So
Game
this is our personal games throughout the year that we thought went above and beyond the
Yeah.
entertainment values or something.
Yeah, for my picks, I didn't pick what I thought was like the most technically brilliant or the most artistically brilliant. I just picked my favorite games, like
Yeah.
the games I had
What
the
you
most
had
fun.
the most fun. Yeah.
You want me to go first?
I'd say.
Well,
Are we
you
gonna start with,
agonized
like-
over it, so I think
Yeah,
you should.
you should definitely go first.
Yeah.
Are we
Okay.
starting from like our pre-favorites to and then saving our favorites to the end?
I
Is that how
can't
we
do
do
that.
it?
I can't
I
rate
think we
them.
should stop.
I can't
Okay.
choose among my children. I do have a favorite.
I
though.
think we should go top and then down. Personally,
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Let's do that.
Oh, your favorite game, and then your
Oh, I don't know
favorite?
if I can pick the favorite. They're all like equal for me. I think in terms of how much I enjoyed them.
I'll let the listeners interpret which one is my favorite.
Okay.
You can guess.
The first one I'm going to talk about though is Zelda's Zelda Link's Awakening.
You took one of mine.
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
That's fine. It's fine. Yeah, that's cool.
This game was definitely on my radar since it was announced, but I didn't get a chance to play it until I was basically laid up on my back. I couldn't play video games, but I realized, I can play Switch in bed, so I'm going to play Zelda because I really like Zelda games. This is my favorite Zelda game that I've played in probably since A Link Between Worlds on the 3DS. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed this game. The art style was brilliant. Like it kind of has that like tilt shift, like toy look to it. So it looks like you're like playing with toys, if that makes sense. Where like you've got small figurines on like kind of like a map and like there's vignetting around it. It really has. I know it's the look of it is a little bit like some people like it, some people don't. I really thought it was great.
I thought it was
But
great,
the
yeah.
game itself is so lighthearted and so just pure fun that I couldn't help but fall in love with it as I played it. It's a little different than other Link games where you're not in Hyrule, you're not saving Princess Zelda. In fact, Zelda, I don't even think should be in the title, really.
Yeah.
You're kind of on this island. You get caught in a storm. You wake up on the beach of this island, and this owl tells you the only way to get off this island is to wake up the egg that's sitting on the top of the mountain. And then your quest is to find the musical instruments to awaken the egg. And it's very much traditional Zelda.
Create the eternal
Dungeons.
jam.
Yes, the eternal jam to wake up the big ass egg. It's got like really kind of traditional Zelda dungeons where you go into a dungeon and you got to solve it you got to find the big key. You got to find small keys to open up rooms to find the big key, and then you beat the boss behind the boss door. But instead of getting like a new weapon, you get a new instrument, and for the most part you just buy the weapons from the vendors in the town, and there's no like master sword or anything, so it's a little different. It originally came out for the Game Boy. This is a remake, and man, I fucking love it. Like I like it a lot more than I like Breath of the Wild.
Wow.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I really do. Breath of the Wild, like I can't wait to play Breath of the Wild 2. And I loved Breath of the Wild, but I also hated a lot of things about Breath of the Wild. Like some of the hated is a strong word. Some of the things about Breath of the Wild drove me nuts, like on a gameplay perspective. So I can't wait till they take a second pass at Breath of the Wild. I can't wait till the rest of the industry takes all the ideas, all the great ideas out of Breath of the Wild and applies them to other games, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But like as a Zelda game, it wasn't my favorite Zelda game. It was a really magnificent achievement. But this to me is just a wonderful Zelda game. I absolutely love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, definitely.
Eric's agrees.
I mean, I loved it because like Link's Awakening was one of my favorite ones because I played it like the original one, so it's always been one of my favorite Zeldas anyway. So when this one came back around, I mean, with all the new visual styles and everything about it, like it was just like it was a nice mix of all the nostalgia stuff that I remembered from like when I first played it, but then with the new kind of like coat of paint on it, it was just sort of it was always like playing a brand new game at the same time as also having those memories. Like I would revisit their locations and be like, I remember this place, but I don't completely remember it. So it still feels new, but I can recognize certain areas. Yeah, it was. I want them to do that style, that like tilt shift style, but for Minish Cap. Ooh, that'd be great. But yeah, definitely good choice.
Eric, so you should probably go since he took one of yours.
Well, you know what? Since so at the beginning of this call, when I was like, I've got 2, but I haven't got the third one. I have since decided that my third one was going to be Link's Awakening, right? You know what? No, but it's fine. You know what I'm actually going to mention? I'm actually going to mention Cadence of Hyrule.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I went through an interesting thing with this. So obviously, like Zelda is my number 1 favorite franchise of all time. So I'm massively biased, right? So initially, I saw this because I'm not really a rhythm game person. Right? I'm just like it's just not really my jam. So because I know obviously there's like without the Zelda skin, that series has existed before, I believe, like in some other capacity. I never really paid too much attention. But when this came out with the Zelda skin, I was like, well, I'm going to buy it because I'm a massive fanboy. And I got it. And then when I first played it, the very first, I'd say, hour, maybe 2 hours, I desperately wanted to like it because I was like, it's Zelda. I want to like it. There's no Zelda experience so far that I have not liked. But at first it just didn't click with me because I was really rubbish at the rhythm stuff. Like I just wanted to play it. I was so mentally tuned into playing Zelda in the traditional way. Like I just want to move around, solve puzzles, hack up the enemies, and I was rubbish at trying to play to the rhythm. And I just so every time I sort of simple encounters, just trying to get past regular enemies, and I kept on getting killed. I was like, why am I so bad at this game? So then I took a break. Then I came back, and then suddenly, as I'm like anyone that sort of played rhythm games before, like suddenly when the rhythm clicks and you like everything like falls into place, then I suddenly understood the whole game and I suddenly started to really appreciate it because then I was able to actually appreciate like the awesome soundtrack because obviously Zelda's got some great music anyway. The awesome soundtrack and the fact that I was then finally playing, it was literally that kind of like Neo moment where it's like I know Kung Fu sort of thing. Like I kind of came out and it was all falling into place and then it created like a really, really fun experience. It wasn't a very long game, but this whole like the nice Zelda, obviously the kind of pixel art style mixed with, I guess, what they would traditionally do in that kind of game when it didn't necessarily have the Zelda collaboration, paired with the sort of the fun musical aspects. But the weird thing is, you still maintained a lot of what was like true to Zelda, despite the fact that you were still playing in this sort of like rhythm nature. So you still kind of got, your cool items, your cool dungeons and stuff. You had little boss battles, and it was really fun. It was just definitely like sort of, it was very much like playing an actual Zelda game, but just with this underlying rhythm. That once you do get it, you enjoyed it. So that is actually, as a game that I never really thought I was particularly going to enjoy. That actually ended up being one of my highlights this year.
I played the demo of this. There's a demo available on the Switch for free.
Okay.
And I really liked it, but I like for whatever reason I didn't buy the game and play the rest of it. It was fun though. Like it's weird to get used to the movement. Like you move on the beat, and you gotta hit the movement key directly on the beat. And that also is your attack if you're near an enemy. So it's like it's a weird feeling, but once you kind of get into it, like it starts to feel good.
Yeah. I think what was kind of cool about it was it almost turned movement into a puzzle in itself because like if you look at an enemy and you're like, okay, if I step one step towards you, you're going to raise your sword. If I go to attack, you're going to hit me. So it's like you're like, oh, this is an enemy where it's like back, forward, back, and suddenly like you see every encounter is like this cool mini puzzle. But then when you start to picture that with every enemy, it starts to flow really well. So
yeah. And then you're doing it to the beat, so you got to stay in the beat. Like it feels really good, and the music is fantastic.
So Yes.
everything I heard in the demo anyway was out there. It's all remixes of Zelda songs that you remember, and they're really good remixes. I was looking to see if it was available on Spotify, and I don't see it, unfortunately. I was hoping that I could just listen to the music.
That'd have been good.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, me and Tefty, I think, share quite a few.
Do you guys think you're going to go 3 for 3 the same games?
No. There's definitely one that's different.
Yeah?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Are we going to start with the different or the same?
I don't know. I don't know.
What?
Well, there's 2 that I think might be similar.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna start with one that I think is obvious, just because it's obvious and I don't need to talk about it that much. Which is Sekiro.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have to mention it because it's like my favorite combat system in any game. I loved the fact that it really felt like you were going against another sword person who was an expert and you were just going at it. Another swordsman versus swordsman. And it really felt like they captured that so perfectly. Just that feeling of having this epic battle with another person who is so good at using their weapon.
Yeah.
The story I really enjoyed. The environments I thought were cool. All of the bosses that I fought, I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. While they're killing me, I was like, man, it's really cool. So it just everything about that game I loved so much. So I have to mention it.
I'm at same. Like that's definitely on my list. That was I'm looking at this list as emotional impact type of experiences, that become a game of the year type of thing. And Sekiro definitely is in that. Like it's either that or another one that I played this year that would definitely be considered my top. But at any point, how I'm feeling, I could feel one way or the other. Because it's the experience that they created, the visuals, the play style, the being a swordsman, the ambiance, like the sound details of when you feel like you hear the bamboo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the textures feel real in an audio sense, along with the whole environment that's been created. It was great. I really enjoyed that game.
From Software, I think, is crafting worlds on a level nobody else is doing right now. Like they did it in Bloodborne, they did it in Dark Souls. Like they're so immersive and they're so it's a joyful experience to just experience and suck in what they're crafting. Like because it's so detailed, so rich. It's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, and when I got that ending, man, I was sad.
You got the bad ending?
Well, there's only one good ending and 2 pretty not great endings. I guess the one that I got wasn't awful, but it was the continuing of a cycle, basically. I don't want to spoil it in case people are
okay.
I know a few people are jumping into it now because it won Game of the Year at the Game Awards. So I've seen a few people saying that they kind of wait to see what's announced as Game of the Year and then they play that.
Interesting.
But the end of it was a continuing a cycle. I broke no cycles, and here we are.
Here we are. So are you gonna play it again, you think?
I want to. It's just about time, right?
Sure.
It's one of those games where I probably wouldn't want to stream playing it again because it's like the same thing. But it's something that I'd want to play probably just in my downtime of I have some time to just play a video game.
Chip away at a playthrough.
Yeah.
So, I've never had this experience, but I know a lot of people have had the experience with Dark Souls and with Bloodborne that while it took a really long time to get through it the first time, the second time through it wasn't that bad because you kind of knew the bosses, you kind of you knew everything to do. So it's not like a huge time commitment.
Yeah, I think unless you change the difficulty, because there's a few difficulty settings with Sekiro.
Did it launch like that?
No, so it's after you finish the game, you have a way to make it more difficult. But yeah, there's a few things that you can do with
you can also ring the bell.
You can ring the bell and then you can like do something else after you finish the game. So I think if you put both of those things, because it's like when you block, you also take damage, is one of the things that they changed. So you have to parry perfectly or you take damage. So I think if you didn't change anything, you could just breeze through super fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you put that on, it might be a bit of getting used to.
Yeah, the thing is, the system is set up in a way to where when you do understand the parrying and the combat, and you understand reading the character moves really well, it's very rewarding to just do a perfect fight and then destroy it. But you can do those extra difficulties to test your abilities like that if you have gotten to the point where you know the combat system in and out. So that's really cool.
Oh, the set pieces in that game too were just so good. I think there's two that really stand out for me. Lady Butterfly was just a gorgeous experience. Just all of it. The arena that she's in is this building. It's just all on fire. Her fight style is like very fast and fluid and very pretty to look at, but she's very deadly.
Yeah.
So immediately when I saw that, I wanted to make her weapon, which was the butterfly weapon.
Nice.
Didn't do me that good, but I got it. It looked great. And then I think the other one that stood out to me was fighting the ape.
Yeah, I was gonna say
the guardian
Monkey
ape.
Boy.
Monkey Boy.
Monkey Boy, second phase. When that happens, you're like, what? Okay.
Yeah, and his arena was great.
Yeah.
It's just this snowy ice place. Yeah, it gives you this feeling of things being really epic, which they do so well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, amazing game.
Yeah, really good stuff. All right, I'm going to bring up one that's probably not on anybody's list, but I really enjoyed it. It was probably forgotten about by now. It's kind of an indie-ish game. It's definitely done by a small team. Remnant from the Ashes, I think, was a fantastic game.
I'm glad this made a list.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed playing this game because it's like Diablo 3 meets a third-person shooter experience, but you also have melee weapons in there, and every playthrough is different, and you can't get everything just doing one playthrough. In fact, you can't get everything doing two playthroughs. Like, you have to keep on hacking away at it. Keep on keeping on, resetting stuff. I think it was really well done. It does have its problems, and it lacks some polish here and there. But again, it's an indie game done by, I'm pretty sure, a small team. So they had limited resources to be able to do that stuff. But it came out of nowhere. It was in August. Suddenly it was like, check out this game that's like Diablo RPG Division. It was really cool. Yeah. So I highly recommend, if you see it on a Steam sale, because it's probably going to be for super cheap on a Steam sale, pick up Remnant from the Ashes. You'll have a good time.
Did this game come to consoles?
I feel like it did come to consoles. I don't remember though.
I think it did.
Yeah.
I think it did. Yeah. No, go ahead, bro.
I love this game too. Me and Watts actually had a chance to play it multiplayer. It was a lot of fun to play that way. Which I'm always looking for, like a good multiplayer game. I can't wait for Remnant 2.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me a little bit of the first Assassin's Creed, where they had so many great ideas. I can't wait for somebody to throw them a truckload of money and say, "Here, now make your dream come true." Like, make it beautiful. Because to me, it wasn't the best looking game in the world.
Yeah.
But like, if they had more time, more money, like I could see this being just a mega hit.
Exactly.
A mega hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a game that really surprised me. I saw it and I was like, it seems like a gameplay that I'm interested in. There's these bosses that you fight, and it's a little bit on the more difficult side, and you can customize your character, and different playthroughs give you different weapons, different decisions, different ways that you kill enemies,
rare
give
bosses,
you different rewards.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, definitely, but I don't know how much I'm going to like it. Obviously, it's this company making this game where they don't have a ton of backing financially. But I was impressed so much throughout the whole thing. The shooting feels great, which that's normally the biggest issue with companies that don't have huge backings, is things just don't feel very smooth. But shooting felt great. Movement felt great. Really enjoyed all of the story stuff. I enjoyed the environments. I think is where people probably see it fall a little bit, because it's kind of generated. It's not perfectly, crafted like a Dark Souls game. But just across the board, thoroughly impressed me. Really enjoyed it. Finished it and loved all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
seconded on the shooting feel. It felt amazing, and that's not easy to pull off. Like you said, especially on a third person game.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did really well.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to go with my next pick Yeah.
I was just to say, I hope if they do another one, they make it 4-player co-op, because the only reason I didn't play it is because like there's 4 people on our team, and then the 3 guys were streaming, so they played it as a squad, and I was like, I don't have time to play this, and there's no room in the squad. So yeah, I did it really cool.
The next game on my list, in no particular order, is Metro.
Yeah.
I was blown away by this game. I initially
What
came
a
to
gorgeous game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it's one of the best looking games ever made. Like you said, it is gorgeous. It's crafted with the love of a From Software game. You know, like it's got like a detail level kind of like that. Like the weapons are like hand built, like, so you don't have any like normal weapons, right? All the weapons are kind of like strapped together by whatever they can find to use as weapons.
Yeah.
This is the first time the Metro world has gone into this like kind of open world setup. It's not truly open world. It's more like a hub based open world. But it was really fun to explore these open worlds and kind of find out the mystery, because each one kind of has this like, what's going on here? And then, oh, this is fucked.
Yep.
And it was really fun to kind of like discover this. And then you kind of, one of the things that struck me was how well they did the interactions between like kind of you and the rest of like your companions. And like the game wasn't afraid to have you like just stand still and smoke a cigarette and have a conversation. You know, like it was just like a really cool feeling. Like it was really immersive in that way. That was like, I felt like I was Arteon. I felt like I was in this world. I felt like I was in danger all the time. I loved how, by upgrading my weapons, because ammo is really scarce in the game, but when you upgrade your weapons, that makes your ammo do more damage. So it allowed, you know, it kind of allowed you to kind of keep building this power fantasy a little bit. The monster designs were really good. This is the first game I played that had ray tracing, and even though it only ran at like 5 frames per second, it was absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait for the next round of graphics cards to come out so I can, you know, get some decent frame rates out of ray trace graphics. Like it's just, the game felt so finely crafted, and it was just such a cool and beautiful but also like horrifying world to explore. I absolutely adored it.
Yeah, Metro games I've always really enjoyed. They do so well with storytelling. And I know the original story is based on a book, right? So they do have source material to work with, but they managed to create this world that, like you said, feels very enticing. You feel like you're a part of it. You really care about everyone in that world that you meet. And I remember one of the Metros I played, I ended up crying at the end, because it's just like, it's a dark world. Bad things happen.
Right.
And they do such a good job of getting you invested in that world that,
This one had such a cool twist really at the beginning, too, that kind of like really changes up your view of that world. I don't want to spoil for anybody, but it was a very cool twist.
Yeah, great game.
Agreed. Really liked it.
So next on my list is a little indie game called Katana Zero.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I believe I spoke about it earlier in the year, but this is such an incredible game. Like, it's not a very long game. You can probably do it in
4 hours,
7-8 hours, or maybe even less than that. Yeah. So it's not that long. But
Maybe.
The thing that I love about it is it's like a martial arts film as a platformer, as like a combat platformer. So it's set in this like really cool neo. What's the phrase? What's the term for like that futuristic cyberpunky looking? I guess cyberpunk. It's sort of a cyberpunky looking
Tokyo
future.
cyberpunk.
But he plays this sort of like this samurai. But the thing that I love about it is that it's every single level is that. Well, firstly, visually the game looks incredible. It's got an awesome art style. It's got an incredible soundtrack with some really cool music. And combat-wise, the thing that I love about it is it's so fast-paced, but you've got this kind of interesting time slow mechanic. But it's the fact that when you go into the level, there's also things in the level that you can just interact with in the way that you would see it in like a traditional martial arts film. So you look at like when Jackie Chan goes in somewhere and like suddenly there's like a bottle on a table, he'll flip it up and he'll use that against someone. Then suddenly he'll go over and he'll grab something else. You will be running through the stage and you'll open a door and there's bad guys there and you'll see there's a bottle. So you will literally kick the bottle towards them and that takes out someone. And then of course you then throw something else, or you pick up like a knife or you throw it at someone else, and you're literally running. And it gets to the point where you're running through the environment, and not only do you have your own combat on, you've got your own sword, you can dash pad bullets, you can slide through things, you can slow down time, you can reflect bullets and things, but you're also simultaneously looking at the environment like, oh, yo, what there's a plant pot over here, let me use that, or there's a electrical something over here, and you just have that, and suddenly it's got such incredible replay value because because the levels aren't too long, once you complete a level, you're like, I could do that better. I could do that in a more stylish way. Like, sure, I got through the level, but did I get through the level by like kicking the door down, throwing the bottle at someone, flipping over this guy's bullets, like using my sword to bounce this bullet back at the shotgun guy, and like, so yeah, it's just a lot of like really, really high intensity gameplay, but in these very small kind of bites, and then it's got this weird. It's a very weird story. I don't really think I actually understood exactly what was going on, to be honest.
The story was super strange and awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. And it's also it's almost kind of got some of those like Akira vibes as well, which is kind of cool. And then there was also you could kind of go back afterwards, and there was go on.
I was going to say the premise is that you have I can't remember what it was called, it's something to do with chrono something. You have like these things that have been injected in you. It's a drug that allows you to experience time differently, and you can rewind time. So there's like a built-in mechanic in the game as to why you're able to do these levels over and over and over, because of the stuff that's been injected into you. The chrono something
interesting,
allows you to rewind time to keep on doing these levels and do it better. It was really fascinating.
Guys, is this on Switch? Because I didn't think I need to play this.
It might be on Switch.
Yeah, it is on Switch. Yeah.
It's on Switch.
Yeah, that's what I played. Yeah, I mean, it's on like other places as well. But yeah, 100% it's genuinely one of my favorite things. Like, I technically haven't even finished, because I finished the campaign, and then I went back and there's like different swords you can unlock. But there is also one additional thing you can do. There's like a secret boss, which the only one thing I haven't done yet, because it's like I have to go back and replay the levels, and I think you have to replay the levels in a certain way. And apparently the secret boss is like stupidly strong. But
cool.
It's such a good game.
Interesting.
I didn't know about that in the boss. Yeah.
I'm gonna be playing this tonight, I think.
Yeah, I saw that game visually. I was like, this game looks awesome.
It is.
But I haven't played it. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do the same thing. Pick it up on the Switch, play it over the holidays.
That game is fun.
Yeah.
And the music, crispy. Wear some headphones and listen to that music, because it like the beats kick in.
I'll just turn it up. I'm gonna turn it up. I put it on the TV, turn it up.
Okay, yeah. Yes. It's on the TV, yes. But if it's coming off of the Switch,
especially
you're gonna break my heart.
Yeah. That was Katana Zero.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. So I'll go with the one that again is obvious for me, but none of you care. And that is Code Vein.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Code Vein's definitely up there for me. If people don't know what Code Vein is, it was described as anime Dark Souls, but it definitely has its own thing. It has its own fighting style because it's very like combo based. Each weapon has a different combo that you can use. And you're kind of using this thing called a blood veil, which allows you to parry. It allows you to steal kind of essence from enemies to use in your own abilities. And just visually, I really enjoyed it. I thought the art style was amazing. Anytime that my hair clips with an outfit, I know we're on the right track, because they're not afraid to give me some long hair and some crazy stuff. That's when I know we're doing good. The thing that I really loved about it, that I thought they did incredibly well, was how you select your class, basically. So the way that it works is you are going through the world and you're finding these people, and you get to take on their blood code, which is kind of their play style, their fighting style, their abilities. So you meet them and you get to use that blood code for yourself. And the more you use it, you unlock their abilities, and then you can use those abilities with any other blood code. So the options are crazy of the builds that you can make, because you can mix and match from every single blood code that you want, and you can put it together to create something really interesting. Character customization is probably one of the best ever in any video game. It's really impressive, and it's got the difficulty of Dark Souls, but not as difficult, I would say. There's some bosses where I'm like, dear Lord, this is a lot more difficult than the rest of the game. And then there's some where I'm like, I wish it was a little bit more difficult. But just from start to finish, it was also really emotional, because these people have been like, you're basically setting people free from kind of a curse situation. So yeah, it was emotional. It was beautiful. Combat was great. Weapons and customization is great, and classes. It's just so good, and they're updating it as well. So they just recently put in a new dungeon. So I'm probably gonna go and check that out. And then they have DLC coming out early next year.
Nice. That's
when
cool.
I brought a video up of it of like 17 minutes of Dark Souls-y gameplay. It says from IGN. Yeah. I don't get a Dark Souls vibe from this at all. What's the Dark Souls comparison?
I think
that it's hard.
I think that it's difficult. It has the like campfire, bonfire situation going on. The bosses, when you fight them, they have that health bar that you see. So there's a lot of things that would make you think of Dark Souls.
Yeah, progress being.
But yeah, when you play it, you realize it's got its own thing going on.
Okay. So like action RPG combat, third person camera, and then progress being gated by having to clear an area up to a boss, or just a big chunk of enemies that keep respawning, usually ends up defining Dark Souls. People put it in that box. Yeah. Yeah.
But so in Code Vein as well, as you're playing through, you unlock dungeons, you unlock dungeon maps where you can go in and they're really good for getting materials for upgrading your weapons and armor. So it's kind of a game that's going to keep growing. I know that they're going to have a few things that come out DLC wise, because there is a season pass that you could get when the game first came out. So I'm excited to just keep jumping back into it, because you're now in the situation when you finish the game where you're going into a more open world outside of the confines that you've been stuck in. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
Cool.
Oh, and there's the other thing I completely forgot about, which is stupid. So you can play this game solo, or you can bring along an AI companion with you. And initially I was like, I'm not going to bring along a companion. It's going to make it more easy, and I don't want that. But you get to learn about these characters, and that really makes you want to bring them along with you, because as you're playing with them, you learn about them, you learn about their story, and you're like, say a character wants to get revenge on something. He just took the whole microphone into the code. If there's a character that's like, I need revenge on this person, you're like, I'm gonna bring you and you're gonna get the revenge. I got you, don't worry. So it's nice. Yeah, I thought initially that I wouldn't enjoy the companion system, but I ended up really enjoying it.
That's cool. I gotta play that at some point.
It was a great game.
So you already said Sekiro. That was one of my picks. Remnant from the Ashes. My third pick for me, again, I'm basing this on the emotional experience that I've had throughout the year playing games. Anthem. Just kidding.
Got him.
Got him.
Poor Anthem.
For real, on the real side, Death Stranding was an incredible game for me. I put 60 hours in that game. I enjoyed everything, from how crazy it was, from the strange monotony of delivering packages, to the super realistic sci-fi thing that was going on. Like, it was rooted in a sci-fi world that was very weird. You know, you have these strange beings summoning and time rain, time fall, all this stuff. But there was a whole bunch of science that they were putting into the lore of the game to try to make it feel like it actually was a possible reality that was happening. And then also the connection with the concept of these beaches, that people are born with the beach, and their beach is their connection to the afterlife, and they cross through the beach into the other world once they've passed on, and having those things actually be connected through the science of why these, like, they had harnessed that technology to then accelerate technology in the world to do certain things and be able to have these weird, wild mechanics happen. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, the emotional experience I got from playing that game was very special. And it's one of these things where I'm going to look back a lot and be like, oh, I remember that time I was playing that game and having that experience with those things that were going on. So I really enjoyed it. I thought Kojima did an incredible job. And yes, it's super weird and confusing at times. It does end up connecting the dots at the end. But I thought it was cool across the board.
It's a game. So I see a lot of people who have not played the game being very confused why people like it. They're like, it's a walking simulator. It's boring. What a disappointment. And I'm like, but it's so not just a walking simulator at all. You don't just walk. You don't just deliver packages. And honestly, delivering packages is my favorite part of the game.
Yeah.
Like they start making me fight. I'm like, no. I want to deliver packages and build some roads.
Yeah, it's about
that's what I'm
it puts you into the world. It makes you immersed in this sci-fi futuristic fantasy, like sci-fi realism that's happening in the game. And I think that's one of the weirdest things that connected so much, was feeling like you were in that world and talking to these people who are stranded across the United States and having to reconnect society with this crazy beach technology.
I think was something that they did really well that I wasn't expecting for this to be something that I really attached to, but was the like system. And I know, again, from the outside, some people are just like, oh, you're just doing it for likes. You just care about the likes. And it's not that. It's you have this feeling of helping other players who are playing the same game as you, which is something that you don't really get that in many other games.
Yeah.
You just don't. It's you get the feeling of, so if I put this road in this spot, this is a really good spot because it goes around the bad guys and I can get over this river and other people can use it. And you see those likes coming in and you're like, oh wow, people are actually really using this thing that I built.
Yeah.
And the situation that I wanted to happen all along was someone seeing one of my structures in game and coming in stream and saying like, oh, I saw your thing. And it actually happened, which was amazing. It was like, wait, I just saw a bridge that you put down. And I was like, what? That's so cool.
That's incredible.
So I was, I loved that part of it. I got addicted to just wanting to help people traverse the environment easier.
Yeah.
And that is why I'm very slow at completing this game, because I want to get all the stars for helping all the AI dudes get their packages and building their society back together, and I also want to help all the people.
Yeah, so I clocked in about over 60 hours, and I could have easily pushed that to 100 plus if I wasn't streaming it, because I would have taken my time to do everything. But I knew as a streamer, you do have to kind of gauge, like, all right, we do need to finish this game.
There comes a point where you're like, maybe I should push the story forward a little bit. It's been 4 days. It's been 4 days with no new story beats. Maybe we should do something.
I'm thoroughly enjoying ziplines and roads, but I'm like, I guess we need to see some new story here. And the story was super fascinating. All the characters are fascinating.
Yeah.
Death
Stranding is my other game, so you don't need to come back to me. But that's Death Stranding.
You took one of mine, I took one of yours.
It all works out. I mean, there's games that I think I need to mention just in that. Like Destiny, of course, put in so much time in Destiny. I think that this past year was really cool to see how they are changing the way they tell stories in the universe. And I think they're getting into a good stride right now. So I
was tempted to put Shadowkeep on my list.
Yeah.
I really dug Shadowkeep.
Mm-hmm.
Shadowkeep was great.
Yeah.
And Iceborne, of course.
Exactly. I feel like Iceborne.
Is that Eric's? Is that yours? Because we can talk about it.
That is.
Because I already ran out.
Wait. Are we jumping Briar? Are we jumping Briar? Or...
That's okay. Jump Briar. I mean, we're talking about Iceborne.
No. We'll come to Iceborne afterwards. But let's go to. Let's not break the order.
All right. No ruining orders.
All right. My last game is Control. This game hit me in so many pleasure spots that like I almost couldn't continue. You know.
You had to tap out.
Yeah, like. It wasn't a perfect game by any means. Like if you talk about how good the shooting is in Remnant, this game didn't have that shooting feel, right? In Control. But what it did have were these really fucking cool powers where you could like just pick up a fire extinguisher and hurl it across the room, kill a dude, pick up his dead body, pull it across the room, chuck it at the next guy. And meanwhile, like everything in the room is just blowing up like that scene in the lobby from the Matrix, you know, just like shit just flying everywhere. That was really exciting to me. Also, exploring the world of Control was just so cool because like on the surface it looks like just this really like plain like a brutalist structure, like an office building, you know, like a government office building where everything's just, you know, gray walls. But as you explore it and like things start moving in ways that don't make sense, and it's got this like real cool like X-Files vibe to it, or it's just like everything about the environment and the storytelling and the characters and what was going on just hit me on this level that I haven't had a piece of media hit me on in that like mystery way, like that piece of my brain that really wants to believe there are aliens and there are paranormal activities. Like this thing was just, it was a really fun thread to pull the whole time. And once you level up and you're able to use all these abilities and you don't have to rely on your gun, the combat becomes really fun. And it's just like, I just love this game. It also looks incredible, even though in screenshots, I feel like this game doesn't look good in screenshots, but it looks good when it's moving. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
And I really liked the way it looked. Like they use red in really interesting ways, and even though the structures look plain, they're all moving in very interesting ways, and it uses forced perspective in really cool ways to kind of. I really enjoyed this game much more than I thought I was going to, and I'm like desperately waiting for story-based DLC to continue the story.
Nice,
because like I was just taken with the story so much.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that.
Control.
The video game. Now, let me tell you, that was, as someone who streams a lot of Destiny, Control was a confusing one because people were like, the game mode? I'm like, no, it's not. I'm not talking about the game.
You're playing
mode.
Control? This isn't PvP.
You're playing Control? This is not. It was a very confusing time.
I haven't seen this new map yet.
Yeah, it was a confusing time.
Fair. Well, you're never gonna guess what my last game is now, are you?
No, I have no idea.
Also Anthem.
Well, it is. And Division. No.
Division 2.
It is definitely Iceborne. Right? Iceborne is. I mean, again, huge bias here, right? But like, this was always gonna be a good one because historically, the G rank expansions for Monster Hunter are always awesome because it's basically more of what you want with the new difficulty. With more armor, more weapons, more all of this stuff, and they've genuinely done some really, really good stuff. And like Iceborne is still, in the grand scheme of things, still in its infancy. I mean, obviously the expansion is out, but they've still got more free content rolling out. And when you think about the cadence so far, Iceborne has been out, and in 3 months we've already had 3 new monsters. Whereas in World, it took a little bit longer to kind of get to that point. So, they're adding a ton of great new stuff. There's a lot of new systems, a lot of like Iceborne itself introduced a ton of great interesting new systems anyway. Yes, not everything is perfect. Weapon design, some of them are still like a little bit boring and stuff. Like with it doesn't necessarily. There's a few things that like I think in their quest for realism, so to speak, they sort of sacrifice some of the Monster Hunter identity to a degree, but then they're bringing a lot more of that back in because with the recent like Safi Jiva stuff, they've basically been like, oh, you wanted customized weapons? Well, how about we tell you we'll give you weapons which can then evolve into other weapons, in some like, and when you like fully awaken them. So they've done some like really crazy stuff with that. The whole Guardian Lands experience, while Guardian Lands is a little bit grindy, the whole like notion of like this new end game thing that you can kind of like consistently be in and pursue anyway. It's just like Iceborne with the whole like Clutch Claw as well, adding in loads of new weapon stuff. The fact that they've yeah, exactly right. I mean, the fact that they've taken you had all the weapons that were in World when they were obviously there, they all got like new moves anyway because obviously they were doing a big jump from handheld to console. But then suddenly like introducing the Clutch Claw, introducing new combos, it literally just is like everything you liked about World. And the fact that this expands on that world and that expands on that universe, the whole like Monster Hunter World saga now from like World all through to Iceborne is just such an incredible Monster Hunter experience. And the fact that like Monster Hunter is now, I mean, admittedly it was more World that did that than Iceborne, but Monster Hunter now being Capcom's best-selling IP, it's good to finally see that franchise in a position where people know about it. It used to be in a position where, but like I would say Monster Hunter and people are like, Monster what is this game? Whereas now people are like, oh, I know that. Like it's I mean, I love it. I think more so I'm sort of excited now to think about what's going to be next for them. Like obviously this is, I mean, it's huge for them. So it's not even remotely crazy to think there's going to be some kind of PS5, Xbox Series X version.
Ooh, nice.
What's going to be like World 2? What are they going to do then? Like, new monsters, new weapons, new armor, new technology. Like it's going to be good.
They Capcom always impresses me with Monster Hunter of how they manage to do what they do. because the updates that they bring it's not just throwing a new monster. They added like the volcanic region to the Guiding Lands, and they added the icy region to the Guiding Lands. And there's cutscenes that involve this monster, and it has a whole new slew of armor and weapons. And that is a free update that they're just giving you. And the whole Safi'jiiva siege is just insane, the amount of work that went into creating all that armor and the different weapons. Not only are there different weapons, but they evolve to look different as you level them up.
That is so cool. Oh my god.
I don't even know how they do it. But I think so something in Monster Hunter in general, but in Iceborne it was particularly this, is how they just capture like a whimsical, happy feeling with their environments. Like if you go and follow a cat doing its job, it doesn't just go somewhere and disappear. If it's carrying bread, you see it go into the kitchen, and then it starts putting it in the oven, and then it starts making new bread. And it's like a whole thing that all these characters are doing in the hub, which is really cool to see. You can zoom in on everyone. They are doing an actual job the entire time. It's not just some background stuff.
A lot of love
so
and care.
I think exactly, yeah, a lot of love and care goes into all of it. And I think it definitely helped with it being all snowy, so it felt all cozy, and it just had this really awesome feeling of being in that world. I just enjoyed being in the game.
Yeah.
And I think Guiding Lands it's kind of what you would expect a Monster Hunter to do, right? They just go out. You can spend 5 hours in the Guiding Lands just hunting everything, gathering everything. And it really has that feeling of, oh, yeah, I'm a hunter. It gives you, it really does capture that. So Iceborne, it's something that I still am playing all the time. Iceborne, I think, was an amazing addition that kind of blew everyone out of the water.
Yeah, I've been waiting to jump back in like full on, because once I start, I don't want to stop. It's one of those type of things.
Yep.
And I know there's a lot of stuff to hunt, and just like you said, all the armor. I know was it Safi'jiiva that leaves 7th of January, I think, right?
5th, I believe.
5th. Okay, so
maybe, yeah.
So I have essentially up to the 5th of January if I want to get that stuff before it goes away. I know it'll come back eventually, but still, it's cool to collect that stuff. I know there's a lot of grind involved, but it's fun because taking down the monsters is fun.
It is.
It's a fun gameplay
exactly.
loop. Yeah. I just
sort of like.
I just want to say I was really blown away with Born, with what they did. It was like Monster Hunter World 2, but instead of being a whole new game, it was an expansion on top of it. And I was impressed. Really, really impressed with that.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been waiting for the PC version to catch up.
Oh yeah.
And I am dying for it. Like I'm waiting. I'm going to wait
soon.
But I'm really looking forward to it.
No.
Not too far though. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the cadence of like release, because obviously PT is always behind. But either way, I mean, you're gonna have a fantastic time with this, and it's cool to see what Capcom like listening. I mean, I know some people will be like, well, Capcom didn't listen to everything because they've still got like iron and bone weapons. Like, ignore all that. Capcom, like a lot of the stuff they've done, they've obviously taken on board, because like even if you look at like Safi'jiiva, for example, it's like the new Relic Farm, the thing that Call of Taroth used to be in World, but that used to be a really long RNG based grind, whereas like now there's obviously RNG elements to Safi'jiiva, but the whole weapon evolving and upgrading system has been drastically improved to the point where you can actively pursue something you want versus doing a 40-minute hunt to potentially get nothing. So there's lots of like small like quality of life things they put in place, because they're just like they're clearly listening, right? So it's fantastic. I can't wait to sort of see what they said this to me for like a full year of support like they did with World, so we've still got
full year,
basically 9.
Wow.
Yeah, so we basically still got like potentially 9 months worth of stuff. I mean, they may well slow down the cadence as they get towards the end of the year, so we might be getting like something new every couple of months, but still there's potentially 9 months worth of stuff.
That's impressive.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. I think anytime I brought it up to people who work in the games industry as well, they're like, I don't understand how they can afford to put out all this stuff for free for a year, even though it's their biggest selling thing. It's a lot of work and money to make the stuff that they make. So everyone's just like, no idea. Don't get it. Doesn't make sense.
It's great.
Yeah, they do so good.
I thought there's some really good games on your lists, and I am going to download and play. I'm really looking forward to it. Unfortunately, there's just not enough time in the year to play everything.
Yeah.
There's not.
But I mean, there's some really good stuff on these lists that I haven't played. I can't wait to to jump into it. One game though, I know that I already did 3.
It's
And
okay.
the only reason it didn't get on my list is because I was first sure somebody else was going to mention it. Was Resident Evil 2.
Oh, that was
remake.
amazing. Yeah.
I really thought that was fantastic. I don't want to talk about it a ton because I know we're running short on time, but I thought that was a fantastic remake. And it also reminded me, like, Capcom is on this like massive upswing right now.
Yeah.
This year, like, they're really, it reminds me of the Capcom of the 90s again, where they're just like hit after hit after hit, just banger after banger, man. Like,
Resident
doing
Evil
some great
2
stuff.
was phenomenal. I really enjoyed that. I didn't put it on my list because it was a remake, even though it totally could have been there. But like, that's incredible. It makes me very, very excited for Resident Evil 3, which is coming end of
soon.
March, early April, which kind of butts up right next to Cyberpunk 2077, which is going to be mid to late April. But it's like we're going to have Doom Eternal, Resident Evil 3, Cyberpunk 2077, and potentially Trials of Osiris being released at some point in that.
And Final Fantasy.
And Final Fantasy as well. Yeah, that's right.
And Marvel's Avengers.
Nice.
Oh my God, that's right.
Yeah.
We got another September on our hands.
We
But
do.
it's March.
Yep.
/ April.
Sound the alarms. It's another September.
I was supposed to be going on holiday. Not anymore.
Spring's gonna be a busy time.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think with what Resident Evil, the remake did of Resident Evil 2 which was really cool, is if you had played the whole game and you loved the game, you played it 100 times, there was a reason for you to jump into this game because they changed so much about it.
So much. Yeah.
Whether you were brand new, you could go in and be brand new, and that's totally fine. Or you could go in having fully played everything because it was different. So I think what they did with Resident Evil 2 is what I would like to see remakes be in the future. You know, where you keep the magic of what the original game was, but you switch it up and make it interesting and make additions that are interesting. And it's even just they've got such little things in that game that I appreciate so much. Like when you're reloading your gun, but you have your flashlight out, she holds her flashlight like under her chin.
That's great.
Which is just like such a cool little detail, but it's those things like with Monster Hunter, right? It's those little things where you're like, oh man, that's actually
I love the mechanic of the ink cartridges, like that you have to find an ink cartridge somewhere to get and put it in a typewriter to save your game or a VCR, whatever it is. Like I think what was in Resident Evil 2? Was it ink cartridges? I feel like it was ink cartridges, right?
I think it was.
I think it was,
right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, it might have been tapes. I don't know. But that concept, it's an old school gaming concept that most games have abandoned completely.
That's the original Resident Evils had that as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it was ribbon. But seeing that in a modern remake, it's part of the charm of like you have to plan your saves and plan your resources. I don't know, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I would not have wanted them to take that out because it's such a Resident Evil thing, right? Thinking, how do I want to carry this with me? Do I want to put it in the thing? Do I want to save now? It's such a Resident Evil thing. I'm so glad they kept it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they strode that line of staying true to the source material, but also making it a new experience for fans.
Yeah,
and they did
a
it
really great job
perfectly too.
And it looks gorgeous. It's one of the best looking games I've played all year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I can't wait for Resident Evil 3.
Really impressive.
Yeah.
Oh man, Resident Evil.
I can't wait for Resident Evil 8 too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Dying for that.
Oh man. Yeah, because they took a whole different way of making Resident Evil games with 7.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where they go.
It's cool to have 2 different Resident Evil like series happening.
Yeah.
Like the old school kind of like third person and the first person in Resident Evil 7. Like I really enjoyed it. So can't wait.
Yep. Cool.
Should we wrap this one up?
Is that the final episode of 2019?
I think it
might be. Yeah.
SideQuest.
It's been a good year.
SideQuest.
It has
SideQuest
been
complete.
SideQuest complete. It's been a good year, man. It really has been.
It has been a good year.
Yeah.
You know, you think of in terms of quantity of good games, it's been good, but there's been games that are so good that have come out. Not just like, oh, this game is a good game. There's been excellent, superb, like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 games. So it's it's been a good year.
Next year We have a ton of great games to look forward to, and the new consoles, which means loads of crazy stuff that hasn't
New
been announced
consoles,
yet.
new decade, new games.
Yeah. Did you guys also hear that the CD Projekt Red just finalized a deal with the writer of the Witcher series?
Really?
For more content?
Nice.
So like Witcher 4 all but confirmed.
Wow.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
My gosh.
Yeah. I had to change my pants after that one.
I need to watch The Witcher over the holiday. That's what I need to do as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I need to watch the Witcher series. I want to jump into that.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff to watch. I'm still finishing
Did you
Expanse.
guys know that they had to keep fixing his armor in the Netflix
His muscles
series?
kept
'Cause
him
his
wearing.
muscles were wearing out.
That's amazing.
That's incredible.
I was watching the first episode. Me and my wife watched it together, and my wife just all of a sudden just blurts out, "This dude's a fucking beast!" Like he is huge.
You're like, he's the Witcher, of course.
I think they said he had to like dehydrate himself for 2 days for the bath scene.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool that he's being really honest about that, because people see it and they're like, "My God!" It's like, yeah, but I didn't really drink anything for friggin' like 2 days.
Yeah, to be unhealthy for a couple days to get.
Basically what bodybuilders do for their stage prep, right?
Exactly.
So it's just like, that's like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Imagine after that.
I just appreciate.
Yeah,
how,
I want to drink that.
yeah, I just appreciate how into the game he is. Like he played The Witcher.
Yeah.
Like he said, he just played too much of The Witcher, and then saw that they were making it, and was sent an email. Was like, I need to be this role.
This is me.
You could see the influence of it too, like in his mannerisms and the way he kind of like brumbles at the
So good.
camera. My wife even noticed it, and she only watched me play The Witcher. You know, like she never played it herself.
He's a gamer,
Yeah.
and he's playing a character
Yeah.
that a game was created on. So it's perfect.
Yeah.
Initially, I wasn't on board with him that casting decision, but having watched it, I was pretty impressed.
I
with
think
it.
a lot of people felt that way, and also that original screen test was so weird.
It was weird.
It was like, here's a wig.
Yeah.
Here's some.
It was like
cosplay.
he was there for his wig fitting, and they took a picture.
Yeah.
And put that on the internet.
Like, here's some high-end cosplay, but not the actual character that's on the TV show. You know, but now it looks like so fitting. So.
I wonder if they make a Witcher 4, if they'll kind of keep the same look of Geralt that they've been using, or if they'll kind of incorporate a little bit of Cavill, a little bit of Superman into it. Kind of bring the two together a little bit.
Maybe, yeah.
That would actually be kind of cool to like model him more after the actor, because I think he's doing great in the role.
Yeah,
I agree.
Absolutely.
So.
I mean, the show is based off of the books, not the game, to be clear.
It is.
But,
Yeah, it is.
I mean, so it's the same world and same characters.
Well, side quest complete.
Yeah.
There we go.
We got side quest from our side quest completion. We had the bounty ready to turn in, but we decided to do
exactly.
something.
Yep. Thank you very much to everyone who's watched and checked out the episodes over the course of the year. Really appreciate all the support on SideQuest. Thanks to all our Patreons. Thanks to all the viewers, all the listeners. Really, really appreciate it, guys. If you want to talk to me, you can @Teft on Twitter. And you can also catch my streams, twitch.tv/TeftyTeft. If you jump into chat and say some stuff, I'm usually pretty responsive on my streams, except when I'm doing a story-intensive game. Then I unfortunately have to ignore chat to give credence.
Most of the time.
To give credence to the story. Yeah.
I am Miss 5000 Watts. Find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Just look for Miss 5000 Watts.
I'm Arix. You can find me on holiday for the next 2 weeks. So
Nice, man. Enjoy
can't
your
find me
holiday.
anywhere. Yeah, and I'll be back in the new year.
Are you going completely off the grid?
Not
Twitter?
fully, but I'm massively dialing down my social media. So I'm like, let me just. I'm currently trying to wean myself off at the moment, so I'm still finding myself like habitually checking and stuff, but I'm trying to not do it. So
Nice.
I've got
you
this to
deserve
go
it, man. You've been killing it all year. You deserve it. I hope you have a
Thank
really
you.
great vacation.
Yeah, man.
I'm planning. I'm working on it.
I'm Rye Rabbit. You can find me on Twitter or apparently in Target. Hello, by the way.
Target.
Thanks for watching this year's side quests, and we'll see you next year.
Yeah.
Have a great Christmas.
No show next week, right?
No
That's
show
right.
next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
No
No
show next week.
Yeah, because this is
the
officially
final one until January.
This is officially last show of the year, and we'll be back normal time once next year picks up, all that stuff. Yeah. So
Once it picks up, once it gets interesting, once next year is like looking kind of cool, We won't talk about it.
Be like, hey,
Yeah.
2020.
I'm going to spend the next 2 weeks playing all the games I missed from 2019.
Nice.
Yeah, seriously.
Yep,
That's what I want to
exactly.
do. I want to just have just at least a few days where it's just I'm just gonna sit here in my pajamas and just like play some video games.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Mhm. I'm looking
That's
forward
awesome.
to seeing clearer in 2020. All right, that's the show, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next year. Bye,
Have
guys.
a Merry Christmas.
Merry
That's
Christmas.
how we're going to end 2019
how
on
we're
that
ending.
joke.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Great.
Bye.
Bye.